At this very moment, your muscles might be shrinking, even if you feel perfectly fine. By age 70, you could lose over 20% of your muscle strength just from aging. But here's what's shocking. In Japan, 85-year-olds are still riding bikes, gardening, even lifting groceries. They're not eating avocado toast. They're eating something else. A tiny black seed. A food so simple, so powerful, it's been called the muscle protector in Japanese homes for generations. Today, we'll uncover this overlooked superfood and how it could help you stay strong, mobile, and independent far into your 80s. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from? And what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments. I truly look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Why Americans lose muscle so fast. It starts so quietly, most people never notice. One day, getting up from a chair feels harder. You find yourself avoiding stairs. Lifting a bag of groceries feels heavier than before. You chalk it up to aging. But what if it's something more? This slow decline has a name: sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle. And in America, it's shockingly common. Nearly 30% of adults over 60 are affected, often without realizing it. You see, after age 50, your body naturally loses muscle at a rate of 1 to 2% per year. That might not sound like much, but over a decade, it adds up. And if you're not actively doing something to maintain it, the loss only speeds up. And here's the hardest part. Most American diets don't support aging muscles well. We focus on low-fat, low-carb, or the latest trendy superfood. But rarely do we ask, is this feeding my muscles? Avocados are great, yes, but they're not enough, especially for older bodies that need specific nutrients to maintain strength and movement. In Japan, growing old doesn't mean growing weak. Elders there have a different relationship with food. They don't eat for trends. They eat to nurture the body, to respect it. There's a quiet wisdom in how they prepare each meal, balanced, intentional, often with ingredients passed down through generations. One of those ingredients is a small black seed we'll talk about shortly. But before we go there, take a moment to reflect. Have you felt a little weaker lately? Do stairs feel harder? Do you catch yourself saying, I just don't have the energy I used to? You're not alone, and you're not powerless. In the next part, we'll step into a Japanese village where elders walk tall, move freely, and live independently well into their 80s and 90s. We'll see what they're eating, how they're living, and why the answer to muscle strength might already be in your kitchen, just not in the form you expect. How the Japanese stay strong into old age. In a small seaside town in Japan, a woman in her late 80s starts her day with a simple ritual. She wakes before sunrise, makes a warm cup of tea, and walks barefoot across her tatami mat to open the sliding doors. The fresh morning air greets her gently. Then she begins her stretches, slow, deliberate, graceful. She doesn't see this as exercise. It's just life. Movement is part of every day. All across Japan, especially in regions like Okinawa, older adults live with a kind of quiet strength. They garden, sweep their porches, ride bikes, carry groceries, and cook their own meals, even into their 90s. But what's most fascinating isn't just what they do, it's what fuels them. Unlike Western diets, which often center around meat and processed foods, the traditional Japanese diet is built on plants, grains, fermented foods, and seeds. Meals are small but nutrient-dense. Flavors are balanced. Every ingredient has a purpose, not just for taste, but for health. One quiet hero in this way of eating is a humble black seed, small, nutty, deeply rooted in Japanese cooking. This seed isn't just a garnish. In many homes, it's used daily to support energy, mobility, and even bone and muscle strength. The Japanese don't eat to chase trends. They eat to honor their bodies, to age with grace, to stay independent. There's a word in Japanese, ikigai, your reason for waking up in the morning. For many elders, that reason is connection, cooking for grandchildren, tending the garden, walking to the market. But to live your ikigai, you need strength. And that strength starts from within, especially in the muscles we so often take for granted. Reveal of the secret nut, black sesame. At first glance, it looks ordinary. Tiny, black, easy to overlook. But in Japan, this little seed has been quietly protecting strength and independence in old age for generations. They call it kuro goma, black sesame. Unlike Western trends that come and go, black sesame is a quiet constant in traditional Japanese homes, not just as a flavor, but as a daily act of care for the body. What makes black sesame special? To understand its power, we need to understand what aging muscles truly need. As we grow older, we don't just lose muscle from inactivity. We lose it because of cellular aging, inflammation, oxidative stress, and nutritional deficiencies, especially in minerals like magnesium, calcium, and zinc. Black sesame is nature's way of fighting back. Plant-based protein, essential for maintaining muscle mass without overloading the kidneys. Magnesium helps muscles relax, reduces cramping, and improves energy metabolism. Calcium, vital for muscle contraction and bone strength. Iron and zinc support tissue repair, oxygen transport, and enzyme function. Healthy fats improve hormone balance, joint flexibility, and nutrient absorption. Sesamin and sesamoyolin, powerful antioxidants unique to sesame, shown to reduce inflammation and oxidative damage in muscle tissue. And unlike avocado, which is rich in fat but low in protein and minerals, black sesame gives you a more complete package for muscle health. A daily habit, not a trend. In Japan, black sesame is often ground fresh each day, releasing its oils and activating its nutrients. It's stirred into warm rice, miso soup, or porridge. Sometimes made into a sweet paste with a touch of honey, perfect as a snack for seniors. And people who consume it regularly don't just maintain strength. They move better, sleep deeper, and feel more energized. In one Japanese clinical study, older adults who consumed black sesame daily for 12 weeks showed improvements in walking speed, balance, and leg strength compared to a control group. Another study found that sesame may stimulate mitochondrial function, meaning more energy production at the cellular level, crucial for preventing fatigue and muscle breakdown. Ancient food, modern relevance, black sesame has been used in traditional Japanese Kampo medicine and Buddhist temple cuisine for centuries. Monks valued it for sustaining energy during long fasts and meditation. But today, it offers something deeply relevant to the modern world, a natural, gentle, accessible way to fight sarcopenia, support the nervous system, and protect independence as we age. You don't need fancy protein powders or expensive supplements. Sometimes all it takes is a spoonful of ground seeds added to your routine with intention. A brief story close to home. One of our viewers, Margaret from Oregon, started adding black sesame to her oatmeal every morning after watching a Japanese cooking show. Within weeks, She noticed less stiffness in her legs. She emailed us saying, "I didn't expect something so small to make such a difference. It feels like my body is waking up again." It's not magic, it's nourishment. How the Japanese use black sesame the right way. In Japan, the way food is prepared is just as important as the food itself. And when it comes to black sesame, it's not simply sprinkled on top of a dish as an afterthought. It's prepared with intention, care, and tradition, unlocking its full healing power. It begins with fire and stone. The first step is toasting the seeds. In many Japanese kitchens, you'll find a small pan set aside just for this. The seeds are dry roasted over low heat, stirred gently until they begin to pop and release a nutty aroma. This simple process does two things. 1. Releases the oils inside the seed, activating its healthy fats and antioxidants. 2. Makes digestion easier, especially for older adults with sensitive stomachs. But here's where the magic happens. After toasting, the seeds are ground using a tool called a suribachi, a traditional Japanese mortar with a ridged interior. The seeds are crushed slowly, turning into a fragrant, slightly oily paste. Grinding the seeds breaks the outer shell, allowing your body to absorb all the nutrients hidden inside. Without grinding, much of the nutrition passes through undigested. Daily uses in real homes, once ground, black sesame becomes a kind of seasoning, rich, earthy, and versatile. Here's how many older Japanese adults enjoy it every day. Mixed with warm rice. A spoonful stirred into a bowl of steamed brown rice adds both flavor and strength. Blended into porridge. Especially during colder months, sesame porridge is a warm, soothing breakfast. Sprinkled over miso soup, adds depth and boosts the soup's muscle-supporting benefits. Used in goma-ae, a classic side dish where boiled greens are dressed in a sesame paste. Nutritious, simple, and easy to chew. Made into kuro goma latte, a modern twist. Black sesame, blended with warm milk or soy milk, honey, and a pinch of salt. Calming and nourishing before bed. These aren't elaborate meals. They're everyday touches, small ways to nourish the body throughout the day. Guided by shokuiku. This careful preparation is rooted in a philosophy called shokuiku, Japan's traditional approach to food education. Shokuiku teaches that eating is not just about filling the stomach. It's about understanding what your body needs, where your food comes from, and how to prepare it with love. For the elderly, this means choosing foods that support energy and independence. Eating in calm, present environments, taking time to chew and enjoy the ingredients with real healing properties like black sesame. This is why black sesame isn't just healthy, it's healing. Not because it's trendy, but because it's part of a lifestyle that honors aging rather than fighting it. A ritual you can start today. You don't need a suribachi or a Japanese pantry to begin. You only need fresh black sesame seeds, preferably organic, a small skillet, a basic grinder, or even a coffee mill. Toast the seeds lightly until fragrant. Let them cool. Grind just enough for a few days. Store in a small glass jar. Each morning, take 1 spoonful. Add it to oatmeal, yogurt, soup, or tea. Breathe, taste. Let it be more than food. Let it be care. 5 Japanese meals using black sesame. Imagine a quiet kitchen in the early morning. The light is soft, steam rises from a pot, and the air smells of toasted sesame and warm rice. This is where healing begins, not with loud promises or complicated diets, but with simplicity, warmth, and rhythm. In Japan, many older adults start their day with a bowl of okayu, a soft, comforting rice porridge. But there's a secret touch. A spoonful of ground black sesame, stirred in just before serving. It gives the porridge a deep, nutty richness, and more importantly, fills it with magnesium, calcium, and healthy fats to support joints and muscle recovery. The body relaxes, the digestion eases, and the day begins with strength. At lunch, that same black sesame becomes a dressing. Greens, maybe spinach or green beans, are quickly blanched and cooled, then tossed gently in a paste made from ground sesame, a dash of soy sauce, and a pinch of sugar. This dish is called goma-e, and it's more than just a side. It's a tradition, one that nourishes the blood with iron, supports energy with plant-based protein, and brings satisfaction without heaviness. And if you were to peek into a bento box packed for an elderly loved one heading to the park or garden, you might see onigiri, rice balls grilled lightly and coated in sesame. They're golden on the outside, soft on the inside, and incredibly grounding. They don't just fill the stomach, they fuel movement. The rice gives steady energy, the sesame adds minerals to support every step. Later, perhaps during a pause in the afternoon, a small bowl of miso soup appears, simple, warm, familiar. But this time, it holds a secret, a swirl of black sesame stirred in at the last moment. The sesame enriches the broth, supports circulation, and adds antioxidants that quietly reduce inflammation in muscles and joints. And when the day slows and the light turns gold, there's one more ritual. A cup of kuro goma latte, warm milk or soy milk, blended with black sesame paste and a hint of honey. It's not just a drink, it's a message to the body. You've done enough today. Now rest, rebuild, and be ready for tomorrow. This is how food becomes medicine, not through strict rules or sacrifice, but through small, loving practices repeated over time. The black sesame isn't added for flavor alone. It's a daily act of prevention, of preservation, of quiet strength. You don't need to cook like a Japanese chef. All you need is a small skillet, a handful of black sesame seeds, and a moment of intention. Toast them until they pop. Grind them gently. Store them in a jar. Use them daily. Not as a health hack, but as a gift to your future self. Start with just one of these dishes, maybe the porridge. Then see how it makes you feel. Because the body remembers care. And in every spoonful of sesame, there's more than nutrition. There's wisdom. This kind of eating is not about portion control or protein calculations. It's about building a relationship with your food, trusting that something as humble as a seed can carry the strength of tradition and the wisdom of bodies that have moved through life gently and well. In Japanese homes, these black sesame dishes aren't reserved for special occasions. They appear on breakfast tables, in lunchboxes, at evening tea. Grandparents prepare them for grandchildren. Husbands make them for wives recovering from illness. Neighbors share extra sesame paste in glass jars, like a quiet offering of care. There's a deeper message in all of it. You matter. Your strength matters. And every meal is a chance to reclaim that strength. Not in dramatic leaps, but in steady, nourishing steps. Even just the act of preparing sesame can become a mindful ritual. Toasting the seeds slowly in the pan, listening for the soft pop, grinding them with your hands. You feel connected, you feel present, and with each bite, you feel just a little bit more capable, not only of eating well, but of living well. So maybe today, it's just porridge. Tomorrow, a rice ball. The next, a a warm sesame latte by the window. You're not just feeding your muscles, you're feeding your hope. And that might be the most healing ingredient of all. Lifestyle habits that make black sesame even more powerful: movement, breath, and mindset. The Japanese way of aging with strength. In Japan, food is only one part of the picture. To truly support the body, especially in older age, it must be combined with how you move, how you breathe, and how you live. Black sesame is powerful, yes, but in Japanese culture, it's part of a whole rhythm of life designed to keep the body light, strong, and balanced even into the 80s, 90s, and beyond. Let's take a walk into that rhythm. Movement as medicine. Each morning, in many Japanese neighborhoods, music floats softly through the air. It's the familiar melody of Radio Taiso, a national stretching routine that's been around for generations. Elders gather in parks, schoolyards, or even just by their open windows, moving gently in sync. Arms lift, shoulders roll, back stretch. It takes only 3 to 5 minutes, but it wakes up the body, boosts circulation, and reminds the muscles they're still needed. This kind of movement isn't about breaking a sweat. It's about maintenance. Daily signals to your body that it's still alive, still working, still worth caring for. Even walking, done mindfully, becomes a tool for health. In towns like Okinawa, elders walk to the market, to the garden, to visit friends. They don't rush, they don't push, they simply move with purpose, pairing a morning sesame porridge with a 10-minute walk after breakfast. That's not just tradition, that's functional longevity, breath as balance. Another forgotten tool of strength is something we do all day: breathe. But in Japan, especially in Zen traditions, breathing isn't unconscious. It's cultivated, slow, deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, sometimes during a walk, sometimes during a quiet tea, always present. Breathing like this calms the nervous system, lowers inflammation, and improves oxygen flow to muscles, key for preventing fatigue and maintaining energy. Elders who pair black sesame with this kind of intentional breath often say they feel more grounded, more steady, less anxious in their bodies. The mindset of care, not control. In Western wellness, we often chase control, counting, tracking, measuring. But in Japan, especially among elders, the mindset is different. It's called keiji, respect for life's natural process. You don't fight aging. You work with it. You adjust. You soften your pace, and you build rituals, not regimens. That's why something as small as grinding sesame, stretching for 5 minutes, or sitting to breathe before a meal becomes powerful. Because it's not just about the action, it's about the intention behind it. Black sesame fits naturally into this way of living. It's not taken with a chart. It's not tracked by grams. It's trusted because the body knows what care feels like. A day in rhythm. Let's put this together. Morning. A warm bowl of sesame rice porridge, a few gentle stretches, deep breaths by the window. Midday. A light sesame-dressed salad, a slow walk to the garden, maybe some quiet time with tea. Evening, sesame soup, a chat with family, a warm bath. Before bed, a black sesame latte and 3 long, calming breaths. This is not fantasy. This is real life. For many elders in Japan who still walk strong, cook daily, and laugh deeply into their 90s. And you don't need to live in Japan to begin. You can start where you are, with just 1 spoonful, 1 stretch, 1 breath. If you take just one message from this video, let it be this: strength doesn't disappear overnight. It fades quietly, unless we choose to nourish it day by day. And sometimes, the most powerful way to begin is small, like the black sesame seed, tiny, ancient, often forgotten, but filled with everything aging muscles need. Plant-based protein, magnesium, calcium, iron, and rare antioxidants that support not only your body, but your independence. You don't need expensive powders. You don't need trendy diets. You just need a pan, a spoon, and a little intention. So tomorrow morning, toast a few black sesame seeds. Grind them gently. Stir a spoonful into your oatmeal, your rice, your tea. And with that first bite, remind yourself, I am still building strength. I am still here, steady, grounded, and capable. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this video gave you something helpful, I'd love to hear from you. What meal will you try first? Leave a comment below and share your journey. And please remember, this video is for education only. It's not medical advice. If you're concerned about your health, speak with your doctor. If it's an emergency, please call your local emergency number. Until next time, take care, stay kind, and stay strong.